So on the last video, I talked a lot about the tarp setup and what I wanted to do in the first place, and then how I changed it and adapted that setup for something that worked a little bit better for me. The first one is an awesome shelter. It is fully enclosed. You can have a working door, and it also has a floor. You will be setting up your tarp in a way that you will be laying on it, so it has the ground cloth already built into the configuration. It was a little bit small for me. The way I saw it get set up, it had a little bit bigger of a tarp than the one that I have, so I needed it to be a little bit more roomy. Great thing about using a tarp is you can very easily adapt these things to anything that you need it for the occasion and the land. I'll show you the first one, and then I'll show you the way I set it up the second way. So I'm going to be using a 3 meter by 3 meter tarp. This one's made by Free Soldier. We're going to be using this tree with a guide line to set up the shelter to make it take its full shape. So I do have it lined up with this tree. So what we're going to do to start with is to create the floor to this by pinning it down with 3 stakes. We're going to pin this corner down, and then we're going to come to this corner and pin it down. We're going to go to the middle point of this tarp and stake it down as well. Pull it tight, which will create a triangle. You'll see that in just a second. So as we have that one pinned down, we have this one pinned down. We're coming to the middle. We're going to pull it straight and tight from that point and that point to create a triangle. Now that we have it pinned down, we're just going to fold it in half. We're going to tie a guide line to the middle loop of the top section of the tarp. So then we're going to take this guide line and we're going to tie it to this tree, and you'll immediately see this shelter take shape. So we'll come to this middle loop. We'll tie a guide line to it, run it to a tree that's behind us, and that will help pull out this back section and give us a little bit more room inside of the shelter. Now that we've tied up the back with the guide line, we can just come to the front and open this up. As you can see, it opened up the inside with a lot more room. Now we can easily access the shelter and be able to set up our bedroll. So the only solution that I could come up with was just to eliminate the ground sheet in this configuration. One, that worked for me too, because I don't really like laying on top of my tarp. I'd rather just bring another tarp with me that I could use that as a ground sheet. I could bring one that's a little bit smaller. I generally have a 5x7. Today with me I have a very large extra one that I'm going to be using as a ground cloth because I've destroyed my 5x7 on a different project. So to start with, what I do is just leave these two sides, these corners pinned together, and I go ahead and I pull out the pin that's holding this front corner down as the ground cloth. When I pull this out, I'm going to leave that corner already in. I'm going to skip the next one. I'm going to skip the corner. And I'm going to go to the next one from there. We're going to pull that all tight. From that point, and from the far corner. As you can see from this front side, it looks exactly the same. But from here, what we're going to do is just pull out this whole front as much as we can. Start from this back corner. So we'll just go ahead and open this up then. Loosen that up from there. Pull out this. So I have my other tarp that I'm going to go ahead and use as my ground sheet. I got a 75-liter bag sitting in the very back of this. I still have plenty of room. All right, sitting back in the chair. I'm going to close this thing down in the front. So I hope this gives a little bit better of a angle of how much space I have in here. I had all my gear, my bedroll, sitting, lounging, having a great time. This is a great setup. Till next time, y'all have a wonderful day.